to NC Exclusive. Well, you and I know him as one of the icons of modern times, Nobel Prize winner, a tireless fighter for equality who forever changed this country and the world. But for our guest, he was simply the old man, granddad, a wise and loving family patriarch with whom a young Ndaba Mandela formed an indelible bond over many years living together under one roof. Now, Ndaba is sharing the life lessons imparted by his grandfather in a book, Going to the Mountain. Those lessons about love, resilience, reconciliation are also in the heart of Ndaba's life mission. My guest this evening is Ndaba Thembekile Zweli Yajika Mandela. He is an author, mentor, spokesperson, entrepreneur, political consultant, and the grandson of Nelson Mandela. Good evening, Ndaba. Thank you very much for joining us.
Good evening. Thank you for having me.
You always refer to Madiba as the old man, grandpa. When did it enter your consciousness that, he was no ordinary granddad, but an international icon, national hero, someone that was revered all around the world? When did you know your granddad was special?
Well, I think it was that first time we went to visit him in jail. Well, that's what my parents told me. And so I had a picture of, concrete bars and dogs and security. But when we went to the house, I didn't understand that he was a political prisoner and he was actually kept in a house. And the house, there was a swimming pool. I never had a swimming pool. There was a VCR. We watched a never-ending story. I met a chef for the very first time. And that day, I thought to myself, I don't want to be a policeman. I don't want to be a lawyer. I want to go to jail.
Quite an interesting introduction. I guess that was post Robben Island years.
That's correct. So the last, I believe, 6 years or so of his incarceration, he spent it on Victor Verster, which was on the mainland in Cape Town.
Now, you went to live with Madiba when you were 11. Your parents were going through difficult times. What was it like going up under his roof?
Well, it was another shocker to the system because, it was in this leafy white suburb of northern Johannesburg. And of course, we went then, the gate opened, electric gates. At that time, I was coming straight from the hood. And you go inside, there were cars, there was security, there were people cleaning, there was so many staff. And that was just something, a huge yard, almost a soccer field worth of a yard. So for me, that was another shocker. And that day, they told me that I would be moving in with my grandfather and he would be sending my parents to university.
Whoa. I'm sure you mentioned in the past that you felt like the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. It was quite life-changing. Now, you authored a book titled Going to the Mountain, Life Lessons from My Grandfather, Nelson Mandela. Do you mind sharing with us some of these life lessons?
Well, there are many life lessons that my grandfather shared with me. But I want people to go and get the book and look at the lessons that are in there. But one of the most valuable lessons that he talks about is that when you have an achievement that you want, that you have set yourself, it may not happen on the first try or even the second, but you have to keep going. So it is going to the mountain. Life is like going to the mountain. When you reach the top of the mountain, you realize there are many more hills and mountains to climb. So really, we have to persevere. We have to persist in order for us to be able to achieve our goals.
Absolutely. Now, there's a thing with children of famous people. Society has a way of pressuring them because of their famous last names to fill the shoes of their famous father or grandfather. How do you live with this and how do you cope with this pressure? We've seen children of Bob Marley, world icons, under some sort of pressure.
Well, I've obviously, since, I met him, since a young boy, I've had to deal with this pressure and people having all kinds of expectations. But ultimately, I realized that we all have our own path to walk, whether you're famous or not. And we all have certain gifts that we need to understand and try to enhance and guide them. And so for me, there is no pressure really that I feel personally because I know what my path is. And so I have, dedicated my past 11 years or so through this foundation called Africa Rising, which is all about youth empowerment and leadership and inspiring young people using the lessons of Nelson Mandela to make them know that there is a Nelson Mandela that resides within all of us.
Now let's talk about your foundation, the Africa Rising Foundation, an organization dedicated to promoting a positive image of Africa around the world. Why did you choose this course? And is Africa really rising with some of the stories that are flashed on the news?
Well, of course, you take 2 steps forward, 1 step back. That is the nature of progress. I believe Africa is progressing, however slowly, but we should not be trying to compare ourselves to the Western world. Africa has its own path to development. And of course, one of the biggest challenges we have is leadership. It is not a challenge of Africa, it's a challenge of the world. How many good leaders can you tell me there are in the world currently? So you see, this is not just an African problem, this is a global, worldwide problem, this thing of leadership. And for me, I believe in the young people. These are the people that will truly take our country, our continent onto the next level. So it is up to us to make sure that we empower young people, give them the skills and give them the wide range of things that are possible out there in the world. I mean, young people in villages don't know what a quantity surveyor is, or they don't believe they can become a pilot. And so we need to be the ones to go out there and work with people that are marginalized, by poverty or by lack of opportunity, and show them with persistence, with passion, you will be able to make it.
And how's the journey been so far with your Africa Rising Foundation? Is your target just South African kids, or are you looking at the whole of the continent?
We are looking at the whole continent. So currently, we have also just opened up another foundation in America because we realize that most of the funding that we've raised has really been coming from America. And so this year, we're going to be doing our first installment of the 100 Mandela Leadership Program, where this year we'll be starting with 15 young people between the ages of 24 to 35, looking to groom them to become social entrepreneurs. And here we are looking for young people across the spectrum, across not only Africa, but even people of African origin that reside in the diaspora.
Now, Ndaba, when you lived with Madiba, famous people like Evander Holyfield, Michael Jackson, Miss World, Miss Universe, even former President Bush and Mike Tyson, to name a few, were frequent visitors in the house. How was Madiba around celebrities, and what lessons did you pick from the way he interacted with them?
Madiba treated these celebrities the same way he treated Mama Tloli, who was the cook, the chef in the house. He treated them the same way as Albert, who cleaned the garden. He treated them the same way as Mike, who was the driver, because Nelson Mandela understood one about humanity. Regardless of your gender, male or female, age, or even background, we all have the ability to achieve greatness.
Absolutely, and we should always remember that. Now, we remember those images of Madiba sharing the Nobel Peace Prize with his one-time jailer, F.W. de Klerk. And do you see that spirit of reconciliation, which was so dear to your grandfather, still alive today in South Africa, in light of the current events taking place within the ANC and the country as a whole? I mean, it was one of the things that stood him out as an icon. His
You know, it's
reconciliation.
unfortunate. They speak rhetoric and they always refer to Madiba, but they don't do as Madiba. They only talk like Madiba. That spirit is really up to us as young people to bring it back, to remind our brothers and sisters that there once walked a young man who went to school for the first time wearing his father's pants without any shoes. But that young man was able to grow and nurture himself to become this global icon. So, in the world of today, where we have social media, we have all the tools, there is nothing that stops us from also achieving this greatness. We need to remember where we come from so that we don't go back to that place of destitute. We need to be able to understand that these great icons like Kwame Nkrumah, like Thomas Sankara, sacrificed a great deal for us to have the opportunities that we have today. But unfortunately, it seems as though the advancement of modern capitalism has made our people forget. So I just believe that we as Africans need to do our part, and stop being what I call social media comrades, where we comment and comment and comment, but we don't really lift a finger and we don't really participate in the places where we should be participating and making sure that young people.
I remember when Black Panther came out, there was. Yeah, Ndaba, I remember when the movie Black Panther came out, there was such a euphoria around it, celebrating this utopian dream of Africa. You're a father of kids now, so what's your dream of Africa for them? Is it Wakanda-like or even better when you think about Africa in the future?
I want my kids to know about Africa. I want my kids to travel through Africa. I want a borderless Africa. I want a united Africa. So I believe that image that we've seen in the movie Black Panther reminded us of our greatness that we have and the potential that we have. So we need to now take that and try and find ways to implement that, by giving our young people exposure. All the time, as you know, young people, when they get money, they want to travel to Europe. I, on the other hand, I'm speaking to you right now from South Sudan, from Juba.
Whoa.
So I want my kids to know the depth of where they come from and to truly find ways to create a united nation of Africa, because once we are together, we will be able to eliminate weaknesses and become stronger through generation to generation.
Now, a few people have tipped you as a future president of South Africa. Is politics something you're open to in the future?
Definitely. Politics is in my blood, and we cannot shy away. We have to step up. We have to lift up our socks. Otherwise, the wrong people will step and make the wrong decisions. So yes, I believe somewhere, somehow, we all should have a place in politics, because after all, it affects our daily lives, whether we like it or not.
Everything we do.
Yeah.
Now, it's Mandela Day a few days from now. What are the plans from your own end for Mandela Day? Will the concert happen, or would we have a toned down version in light of the COVID-19 pandemic?
Well, unfortunately, because of the COVID-19, we cannot, meet in person. And so what we have done, we have organized a virtual concert that is freely available for everybody to watch on YouTube. It will be starting at 3 p.m. Central African time. We have partnered with the United Nations Chamber of Music. We have Miss Lauryn Hill, who will be performing a special song with her daughter. We have Julian Marley. We have amazing, amazing Black composers, from classic to reggae to contemporary music. Even my cousin, who is an opera singer, will be collaborating with the orchestra in New York, and they've done this all virtually. So we have an amazing show that will be coming up this Sunday to let us remind ourselves and each other about the greatness where we come from.
Thank you very much, Ndaba Mandela. We'll definitely be joining celebrations virtually to celebrate the great icon, Nelson Mandela. Thank you very much, Ndaba, for joining us today, and good luck on your mission. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Have a lovely day.
And that's it on NC Exclusive. I'm Gbenga Aborowa.